good. I am walking over to Denny's to get some breakfast while my car gets service. But I wanted to address two of the biggest phrases that I hear every single day from real estate agents in the real estate community, and why I hate them. And I think that you, as a consumer, should take them with a grain of salt. So the first one that I always hear, and I've been the staunchest opponent of this phrase from day one, is marry the house, date the rate. I think this came into popularity sometime around early mid 2022 when the rates jumped really fast from 3 to 7%, and real estate agents across the country, someone said it, and real estate agents across the country latched onto it. Marry the house, date the rate. Basically, the concept is that you need to do whatever you can to get into the house now, and don't worry about the rate and the payment. You can just refinance it later when the payments or when the interest rates drop. My biggest problem with that phrase, and while it's not terrible advice for some people, my biggest problem with that phrase is that what if the rates don't come back down, right? And it's like, if you've got yourself into an uncomfortable position just to buy a house, when you aren't able to comfortably afford the payment with the hopes that the interest rates are going to adjust back down and you can just refinance later, you've now overextended yourself based on a promise that might not come true, right? And we're seeing it now. We're now late into 2023, and the interest rate's only gone up from that point. So all of those people kind of sitting around waiting for interest to go back to 3 or 4 or 5%, are just fundamentally now in a worse place than they would have been if they hadn't bought the house, right? So to have these blanket statements that kind of just say, do whatever you can to buy the house and deal with it later, I think is fundamentally irresponsible by the industry to say that type of stuff and put it into our marketing. Number two is this kind of concept, and I've seen it done in reels and stuff like that, that's basically just like, well, you should buy now when rates are high because competition is low. Because if rates drop back down to 5 or 5.5 or 6, there's going to be way more competition and you're going to pay way more for the house. Whereas right now there's less competition, so you can negotiate more. You can put the you could put your seller credit towards a rate buy down or something along those lines. And my thought there is like, hey, if rates right now are 7.5% and they drop to 5.5 overnight, right, which is like kind of what this being insinuated, that's actually an indication that something dramatically bad has happened in the economy. So while rates might be back down to 5.5%, there's probably record unemployment numbers, or something catastrophic happened to the economy, which means we're in a whole nother world of hurt, with prices probably coming down soon to follow, similar to like an 08 or 09, crash, which is not good for anybody. So that being said, the whole concept that, well, when rates go back down, it's going to be a feeding frenzy and everything's going to go back to 2021. I disagree with that thesis too, and this is a big Barbara Corcoran one. I see her, she said it somewhere and then people made it into a reel. But ultimately, I think that these blanket statements that the real estate industry is putting out are extremely irresponsible for the average consumer. I think that you as the average consumer should evaluate your financial situation, buy when you're ready, when you're in a place where the payment is comfortable and you don't have to worry about overextending yourself, or you don't have to bank on the interest rates coming back down. And it's weird to say, but I think that what's happened here over the last 2 years is that the unaffordability has made it maybe a smarter decision for people to rent versus buy, and wait to see exactly what happens with the market, with the interest rates, with the prices of the homes. Not everybody. I mean, I think that maybe over the last 3 to 5 years, it made sense for almost 100% of people to buy because the prices were low, rates were low. But now that things have shifted, I bet you that percentage is a little bit higher, that it makes more sense for somebody to rent and it's a tough pill to swallow for real estate agents because our entire livelihood depends on people buying and selling houses. But don't worry about that. Like, we will be just fine. You have to do something that's financially prudent for you, and that usually means not listening to the stupid marketing that the real estate industry is putting out. So anyways, sorry, I'm now at Denny's, so I'm gonna go eat some breakfast. That was my little rant about these 2 blanket statements that are being tossed around the real estate industry that I sort of hate.